Hello. Today we're going to make a 3D design that's going to be a name tag, and then we're going to laser cut it. So I opened up Tinkercad and I chose 3D design, and this is my default view. So you're going to end up making something a little more intricate, but I'll show you just the basics and then give you an idea of how you can modify it. So we're going to start with a cube, which is fine. And if we think about, maybe we can think of like a luggage tag or something like that. We want our cube to be maybe at least, 6 to 8 centimeters. I can use the slider, or I can even just type in a value here. So I'll make it 80. And it's probably want it to be at least 4 or 5 centimeters tall. So I'll do that. And that's a good basic tag. We can also see by default, my tag is 20 millimeters high. It won't matter because at the end of the day, when we laser cut this, it's just going to be a flat file, and it's just going to be the outlines. So where that does come into play is when we start playing with some lettering, but I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so that's pretty good, and we can kind of put that off to the side. There's some other things we could do. We could hide it, so if I click that, it just goes away, and then I can reveal it with this, but I'm not going to really worry about that for now. I'm going to put my name out here. Okay, so there's my name. I'm going to drag it out. I can change the font, okay. There's not too many choices built in, but that looks nice. So I'll try with that one, and I'll type my name and replace where it says text, and I'll type Joe. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to my original font to look nicer. There's my name. Now, when I cut this out, right now I'm in perspective view, so I'll switch to orthographic, so I'm just dead on. That makes it a little bit easier to read. Now I'm going to zoom in here. When I cut this out with the laser cutter, it's going to burn a hole or a line right through here, and of course this whole center section will drop out. You got to think of the laser cutter as just cutting lines. So I'll also lose this section of my E. So we have to kind of create a stencil with this, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to transform this Joe part from a solid into a hole, because what I want to do is I want to cut the Joe out of the outline of the tag, if that makes sense. I also, if you remember, I was talking about this guy being 20 millimeters. This guy's only 10. So if I take Joe and I just drop him into here, he gets lost because he's actually inside the box that's taller than it. I can either make the box smaller, or I can make this guy taller. So if you remember, it was 20, so as long as I'm more than 20, I'll still be able to see him. I'm going to zoom out a bit, and then when I bring Joe onto here, and I'll center him nice and pretty, it works out pretty good, okay? I'll change the color just for fun so you can see it highlighted there. Now, let's change this to a hole, okay? So now it's a see-through hole. And if I select both of them together, I can hold shift, or I can draw a box around it, and I click join or group, it'll knock that hole out of the tag. So this is looking pretty good, but as I mentioned before, this is just going to be a big empty hole here, and this is going to be a big hole where the E is. So I need to create like a stencil or something to hold this piece in as well as this piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another cube, and I'm just going to drop it right over here, and I'm going to make it kind of small so that it's just really going to be a little piece of plastic that gets left over, and I'll make it bridge between the name tag part and the actual name. So that one looks good. I can go over to here and hit duplicate. It'll make a second one for me. I can also use copy and paste, but this is fine. And if I was to zoom in real quick, I could try to, it's going to snap to 1 millimeter because I have that setting here. So I'm going to change that to 0.5, and then that way I can kind of center it a bit better. Okay, maybe even 0.25 would be better. And that's okay. And now it'll look Oh yeah, there we go. That one's good. Okay, and we'll do this one as well. Get it just dead center. Perfect. Okay, so we got two. We still have a problem with our E, so what I can do is grab another one as I'm videoing right now. I'll come to the door in 2 seconds. I'll do this for my E, and then I will hit duplicate again. And this one needs to be a little bit shorter, and I'll put him right here. Okay, looks good. Let's join them all together. And click boom. And now, when we go to print this, we won't lose our O or our E. You can do whatever it's going to be needed for your name, but that's the starting of our name tag. Thanks.